Hey everybody, it's ScomletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today I'll be playing a quick draft of Zendikar Rising. We've still got Tinkerer's Cube drafts on Arena for another week and Streets of New Capenna is just around the corner. However, Zendikar Rising quick drafts will be off of Arena just tomorrow, I believe. So wanted to get a last draft in the format. Had a pretty fun time with my return draft and I'd like to play it a tiny bit more before it leaves for the time being. So without further ado, let's check out our pack 1 and see what we want to pick here. So this looks like a really weak pack 1. I really don't like the rare or any of these uncommons too much in draft. The rare is a very specific kind of card that's not going to work well in draft. The uncommons are just pretty weak for their mana costs. They're just pretty not a great rate. Not really pack oneable. Moss Pit Skeleton's probably the best of the uncommons, but even then, it's very, very average, and I don't really want to take like an average gold card over just like a decent monocolored card because it ties us into two colors, so if we don't end up in green and black, we can't play it, so probably just gonna move on to the commons here, which we do have some good commons at least. Field Research being a divination that kicks for a third card later is pretty nice, and Expedition Diviner also worked quite well for us in our blue-red Wizards deck the first time we drafted. Stonework Pack Beast is interesting, probably the most versatile card in the pack because it's completely colorless, and there are tribal decks based around each one of those card types. You can draft a Cleric deck in white-black, a Rogue deck in blue-black, a Warrior deck in red-white, and a Wizard deck in blue-red, and you could draft a Party deck in white-blue or black-red. A Party deck is a deck that cares about all four of those card types, so Pack Beast is a really flexible card that can fit into most decks. That being said, it's not the most powerful thing ever. A 2-mana 2/1 with a pretty weak secondary ability outside of the card type thing. Other than that, there's mainly just like a Subtle Strike, and I think Subtle Strike's probably, in my opinion, the strongest card in this pack because this is just a combat trick that absolutely slaps. It's going to give your creature a permanent +1/+1 and give an opposing creature -1/-1. Sometimes you can just clear out a 1 toughness creature with this and just get a permanent buff on your card. Oftentimes, even if you're just using this to have your 2/2 beat their 3/3, or even your 2/2 trade into their 4/4 or something, you're getting a pretty good deal there. So yeah, I like Subtle Strike, and I think I'm gonna roll with it here. The Magical Christmas Land scenarios, the best case scenarios on this card are just so powerful. Clearing out a 1 toughness creature, or having a 2/2 beat a 3/3 and just leaving behind that +1/+1 counter. Subtle Strike just slaps as a combat trick. Pick 2 now, we see another Moss Pit Skeleton if we want to jump on the green train here. Other than that, another Field Research. A Chilling Trap is good in Wizards. A 1-mana Befuddle, pretty ridiculous deal for a Wizards deck. Molten Blast seems like a bit too weak as removal, only 2 damage for 3 mana. There are better removal spells in the format for sure, even Subtle Strike I'd say being better at that role. Territorial Scythecat's nice, getting bigger throughout the game. And then there's just like Ardent Electromancer, which can be really good in like the black-red Party deck, because you get some extra mana when you cast this to just dump your hand out really quickly. The general line is going to be to play a 2-drop creature on turn 2, then on turn 3 you play this and another 2-drop creature, and you just start the game running. Really good in a black-red deck with tricks like Subtle Strike, so I think I could take Ardent Electromancer here and be pretty happy with it. Don't really want to just hop into the green-black +1/+1 counter theme. It's one of the weakest themes in the format. Yeah, I think Electromancer is probably one of the better cards in here. So I'm going to roll with Ardent Electromancer. Pick 3 now. This time we do have some good uncommons. We still got good commons in here, Into the Royal and Expedition Diviner being great blue cards. But at uncommon now we have a Coom Warrior, which is nice because it's a land when you need it and a big 4/5 trample when you're flooding out. And then Kargan Warleader, which is a pretty powerful build around. 3 mana 3/3 is already a decent rate, but giving the rest of your field +1/+1 potentially is very strong. You know, that's almost like a rare-worthy card. I kind of like maybe taking Kargan Warleader here and trying to go for the very aggressive, just Boros Warriors aggro deck. Here in pick 4, we get a pretty nice follow-up to that, the Goma Fada Vanguard, a 2/2 that whenever it attacks has a creature an opponent controls with power less than or equal to the number of warriors control, be unable to block till end of turn. So a 2-mana 2/2 with a pretty good upside. It's also a warrior, it's a good creature type for a Kargan War Leader. Pretty easy pick here. Pick 5, there's not too much going on here. There's some decent green, Draga Visionary and Veteran Adventurer, but I think we just roll with Expedition Healer. Sure, it's not a warrior, but it's still a 2-mana 2/2 Vigilance at worst. And if we have another Cleric on the board, it'll be a 2-mana 2/2 Lifelink Vigilance, which is an insane deal for 2 mana. But yeah, even just 2-mana 2/2 Vigilance, pretty good deal here. And this will make our party larger for our cards like Ardent Electromancer to help us dump out our hand really quickly. So even if we are like Boros warriors, we don't need every single creature in the deck to be a warrior. We can benefit a little bit by some party synergies like that. All right, so this pack is kind of wild in that there are a couple standout uncommons in here compared to a bunch of just really middle of the range commons. We've got Merfolk Windrobber for the rogue kind of mill deck, which is a really good card. Just a 1-mana 1/1 flyer. It can consistently chip into your opponent and have the milling, which can help trigger all your cards that care about 8 or more cards being in your opponent's grave. And then of course that Moss Pit Skeleton for the counter decks. I think I'm just going to take Merfolk Windrobber. We also saw late blue-black uncommon rogue, which is kind of wild. If we speculated on that, we'd be really happy here seeing Windrobber. Not speculating on it means probably are telling the bot to our left that Rogues is open and they might jump into it as well, but I don't know. I've heard so much about how green is one of the weakest colors in the format, and from what I've seen, it has felt that way for sure. Just really lacking on some removal and stuff. So I'm going to take Merfolk Windrobber. So in pick 7, we've got 3 options. We have Teeter Peak Ambusher, being an expensive fire breather, Seagate Banrat being one of the few like playable 1-drops to get your curve going, and then Practice Tactics being a potential way to get some removal in the deck. But you do need some creatures on board for this to work, and it only targets attacking or blocking creatures. This seems fine though. You really don't need much for this to be playable. Just with 1 creature on the board it does 2 damage. With 2 of a different type it'll do 4. But again, only hitting attacking and blocking creatures is a bit rough. I think I'm just going to roll with Seagate Banneret here. I don't think we're going to get a bunch of 1-mana creatures that often, and in a really aggressive deck, especially one with Kargan War Leader on turn 3, we'd like to start off the curve early and just get things on the board to start bashing our opponent with, so I'll take a Seagate Banneret here. Maybe Seagate Bannerets will just wheel a lot in a bot draft here to where we just take like Kabira Outrider, although that card doesn't seem super wildly powerful either. Kabira Outrider would be our first 4-mana card though, and we did open up a Seagate Banneret in pack 1, so that'll probably wheel to us. We'll just take the Kabira Outrider here. And we did wheel the Seagate Banneret, so we can play that here. We could also play Fissure Wizard, or we could add a deck with like 50 Moss Pit Skeletons, I guess. I don't even know if that's an incredible place to be. It seems okay. Yeah, Seagate Banneret or Fissure Wizard here. I think I'd rather go more just all in on warriors than spreading out the party with another wizard. Alright, I suppose we have a decent little combat trick here. Resolute Strike. +2/+2, potentially move an equipment around. Seagate Colossus is a big game-ending warrior, I suppose. Or we have the cheap Goblin Rogue if we want to add to our party. I'll just take a Seagate Colossus. Another Resolute Strike or an Angel Heart Protector. Don't think I'm going to want too many combat tricks. Alright, not a great pack to open up here. We see a really good black rare. The Null Priest of Oblivion. It's possible we can try to sort of push into black-white clerics instead now. We've only got the 3 red cards, and red was getting cut a little bit, it seemed like. Null Priest of Oblivion is a very powerful card. 2 mana for a 2/1 Menace lifelink, 6 mana for the same, plus return a creature from grave to board. I'll take the Null Priest of Oblivion. We're not passing up on much, just an Expedition Healer. Nothing that's particularly amazing in like a red-white Warriors deck here, so we'll take Null Priest of Oblivion here. Speculate on pushing into black-white clerics instead. So now we have Royal Eruption, which would be great in the Boros deck, but Journey to Oblivion is going to be quite solid removal in either red-white or red red-white or black-white. So we'll take Journey to Oblivion here, I think. I don't think Skyclave Shade's exactly what we want to be doing, even if we end up in black-white as the Cleric's deck, some random shade that can block, even if it is a powerful aggressive card. Doesn't make too much sense. So we'll take Journey to Oblivion there. Ooh, wow. Yeah, I think Emiria Captain is a really strong card, but this pack is full of strong cards, actually. We've got Emiria Captain here, 4 mana for a 1/1 Flying Vigilance that gets a +1/+1 counter for each creature in your party. Kind of a build your own Sarah Angel. Core Celebrant here is really good in the Cleric's deck because you have a lot of cards that'll care about gaining life, and this is just a really high toughness card to help wall off the aggressive red decks. And then you have Shepherd of Heroes, which is a really good way to stabilize against aggressive decks and have a high power flyer in the sky, a 5 mana 3/4 flyer. So Shepherd of Heroes, Core Celebrant, and Emiria Captain are all phenomenal cards to potentially pick up here. I'm going to go with the uncommon here. We'll go with the Emiria Captain. Just not likely to get that card as often as the rest. Now, what are we looking at here? Probably Shepherd of Heroes. Again, we're definitely in white, deciding between white-red and white-black. So we'll take the powerful white card over the powerful black card. Black Bloom Brogue, just another one of those flip lands. Just really like them being a land when we need it and a card when we don't. This pack looks pretty empty. I guess Expedition Champion's probably quite the beef in a dedicated Warriors deck. 3 mana 4/3. If you've got another Warrior out, sure, we can roll with that. Valakut Awakening doesn't seem bad either, though. It's a decent top deck in the late game, and early in the game it's just the Stoneforge. But late game you just put all your lands in hand into your library, redraw a new hand. Does not seem bad. I'm going to go with Expedition Champion. Alright, now we see Synchronized Spellcraft, some filler removal. Well, here we see Rock Slide Sorcerer, which is really good if we can up our instant sorcery and wizard count. Yeah, that card just jams in for a bunch. Other than that, Scavenge Blade would be the best for just the dedicated Warriors deck. But we do have a pretty heavy party theme as well now with Emiria Captain, Shepherd of Heroes, Expedition Healer, some definitely off card type cards. We don't have any flip lands yet, which is where Tazim Raptor really pops off. Because then if you've played your Spikefield Cave, you can still top deck a Raptor late game and then pick it up to cast a Spikefield Hazard. We also don't have any Landfall to go with it, so I think I'm just going to take the Spikefield Hazard over the Tazim Raptor here. Now I guess a Skyclave Sentinel to the side. Pyroclastic Hellion's another great way to pick up those lands. It's also just a beefy card, good stat line, 5 mana 4/5, and it deals 2 damage to your opponent when you play it. I love me a Pyroclastic Hellion. Probably take it over Song Mad Treachery here. Such a nice beefy card. Another Ardent Electromancer here seems pretty good. We're kind of turning into just like a Boros party deck. Again, with cards like Emiria Captain now. So that's going to help us just flood the board really quickly. And some nonsense that's probably getting cut here. Alright. Pack 3. Pick one. We do see Cleric of Life's Bond. Had we managed to get into the Cleric's deck, but it did not look like we just didn't see enough good Cleric stuff or just black stuff in that pack. We saw more in red for just the Boros party. So that's not really happening, although that is a very powerful card. That being said, there's nothing to play here, is there? Oh, no, there's a Stonework Pack Beast. We can absolutely play that. But yeah, Magmatic Channeler. I guess this is fine, even if you're not a Wizards deck, because it is still a card draw engine. Discard 1 card to pick the best card out of your top 2 to play this turn. Yeah, I think I will. Ooh, Squad Commander is a brutal card. 4 mana for a 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 core warrior for each creature in your party. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you have a full party, your whole field gets +1/+0 indestructible. You don't need that last line of text for this to be just a great card. This is at minimum. For 4 mana, you're getting a 3/3 and a 1/1 token. Each other creature in your party just makes the card better and better. And again, if you have that full party, this card's basically unbeatable. Squad Commander is insane. Super nice to get past that here. That is really going to make the deck make the deck something super sweet. So now I think I want another just like instant or sorcery removal spell. We have Synchronized Spellcraft for something that'll definitely kill something, or Kabira Takedown for something that will maybe kill something, but is also a land. We've got a pretty creature-heavy deck here, and I like the flip lands a decent amount. I'm going to take the Kabira Takedown here. Green is wide open. That's also just a lot of green cards for this pack, even if none of them have been taken yet. It's a lot of green in the pack. So here, Practice Tactics or Scorch Rider. What's our creature count looking at? 17 creatures already. Scorch Rider's pretty filler. I'll just take a Practice Tactics. More options than what we want to use as removal. Grotag Bugcatcher is the easy pick here. One of the best aggressive creatures in the whole format. A 2-mana 2/2 trample on attacks by its lonesome, and it gets bigger and bigger for each creature in your party. This is a phenomenal card to play turn 2 into a turn 3 Electromancer. Because the dream play is like turn 2 Grotag Bugcatcher, turn 3 Ardent Electromancer. Now you've got a wizard out, you get 2 mana and you just dump out another card. So then your Bugcatcher is attacking as a 3/2 trample, and you have 3 creatures on the board turn 3. Really brutal stuff. Unfortunately, there are no red clerics though, so you can't do like a magical curve and have a warrior, wizard, and cleric out by doing that. I guess there is a 1-mana red rogue if you want to get the ultimate curve with that. Wow, somebody's going to be happy with these Roost of Drakes. I think we've seen a few this draft going decently late as well. So one of the bots is going to have a sweet deck. But us, we'll just have a Smite the Monstrous, I guess. I don't think Utility Knife's playable. We have enough removal, though, that will probably cut Smite the Monstrous because it's specific at what it can kill. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just take a Smite, throw it in the sideboard. Another Grotag Bugcatcher, get in the deck. Sneaking Guy definitely goes up a lot in value now because, again, it's a 1-mana rogue. So it's a 1-mana card that adds to our party. So if we see these wheeling at all, maybe we pick them up, try to play them here. But it's got to be that Grotag Bugcatcher first. Well, there we go. A 1-mana Cleric, Kitesail Cleric, and it has a decent ability to kick it later in the game if you don't want to just drop it turn 1. So I like Kitesail Cleric here. Some sideboard nonsense as we wrap up the final pack. And then a cat or a human warrior. Cat is just a very irrelevant creature type here. So Kitesail or Scorch Rider. A lot of creatures, so maybe take the Kitesail for flexibility, but I don't think we'll end up running it. So I don't know, I'll just take the Scorch Rider here. Bunch of sideboard jank. And let's build this deck. All right, so it looks like we only need to cut 5 cards here. We have 21 creatures and 7 non-creatures. Your average creature count's like 15 to 17-ish. So we could cut just 5 creatures here if we really wanted to, but we are a pretty aggressive deck, so I think I'll cut a few creatures and maybe 1 like non-creature card. In general, when I have flip lands in the deck, I'll treat them as 2 flip lands is the equivalent of about 1 land, because you want to play these as spells sometimes, so you don't want to just cut 2 lands if you have 2 flip lands, but I would cut 1 land for every 2 flip lands that I have, and I have 2 flip lands, so we can cut 1 land here, which means we only need to cut 4 cards. So, if we only need to cut 4 cards, we can cut 4 creatures and still have 17. Pretty great count there. I'm pretty cool with that. So, we probably cut Seagate Colossus, because I did just cut a land. We do have a decently sized party. We don't have a lot of like really big stuff to close out the game, but Shepherd of Heroes, Pyroclastic Hellion, Emiria Captain, Squad Commander. We have some game enders for sure, even without having to get a card that could definitely get stuck on our hand quite often. Scorch Rider is one of our weakest high mana cards, and we've got a lot of high mana cards for how aggressive we're trying to be, so we'll probably cut the Scorch Rider here. I think I even like a Kabira Outrider over that. And then Rock Slide Sorcerer, we don't have a very high instant sorcery count for this card, but it's still a good card. 6 instants. We've got 6 instants for it, and we have how many wizards? 4 wizards. There are 9 cards in the deck that'll trigger this, because obviously we have 10, but it won't trigger itself. So 9 cards to get that 1 random damage. Yeah, I mean, that's enough. Even if it isn't enough to consistently kill a lot of things off of it, I think it's enough to scare our opponent into maybe like dumping removal on this, which still seems kind of worth it. We can consider cutting that, but I think that's the lowest on my priorities of cutting for everything that's over there. Angel Heart Protector, I guess it does let us get one pretty aggressive attack in, maybe with a Bug Catcher, you know? Give that Bug Catcher indestructible, so even if they have played their 2-mana 2/2 or something, it still gets in. So that's kind of nice, but I really like Electromancer, quite like the Expedition Champion as a 4/3, and there's no way I'm cutting Kargan War Leader. So I guess Angel Heart Protector out of all the 3-drops is the most likely to put in that pile. Expedition Healer with not a lot of Clerics means it's mainly just a 2-mana 2/2 Vigilance, which again isn't the worst thing ever, plus it adds to our creature types for party. We only have 4 Clerics. Yeah, I think I want to keep Expedition Healer to spread out our creature types. And Seagate Banneret, I don't know if we need 2 of them. Maybe we can cut 1. So this is kind of my pile over here. We want to cut 4 of these cards here. I'm definitely going to cut Seagate Colossus and Scorchrider, I think. And then we have 2 more cuts to go. Might be overselling it to myself, but I did like that. The best case scenario idea with the Angel Heart Protector of playing this, making the Bug Catcher indestructible, getting that free attack in with it, that's pretty spicy. But that is, again, that's a little Magical Christmas Land because we only have 2 Bug Catchers in the whole deck. And if this card isn't getting good value off its Enter the Battlefield effect, it is just a 3-mana 3/2, so it's a 3-mana card that trades down into their 2-mana 2-power creature. So that could be an issue. Yeah, no, maybe I am cutting that. I don't know. I think Rockslide Sorcerer is pretty scary, pretty threatening. Takes a little while to get it to do something in our deck, whereas something like Kabir Outrider just does stuff the second it hits the board. Now let's cut 1 Banneret, 1 Angel Heart Protector. I'm still not convinced I should cut Rockslide Sorcerer. We'll definitely... we definitely have enough cards in our sideboard to have more options and how we want to build this deck in between rounds, if I remember, which I never do. But if you're trying to play at your absolute best, definitely don't just run with the first version of your deck and be like, yeah, this is definitely the best version. You know, try to think after you have some experience with the deck. Once you know for sure how the cards are operating during gameplay, what does it really feel like the deck's missing? Maybe a certain card works in a way you weren't thinking of that would make another card work better with it, stuff like that. So maybe you do want to change things around. Like if a Seagate Banneret super overperforms, I'll probably put the second one back in. But for now, I think this is how we want to start. Let's just make sure our mana's all in order. 13 white cards, 12 red cards. So, I mean, an even split seems cool to me. Our flip lands are exact even as well. Yeah, we have more white 1-mana cards than red ones, but then we have a lot more red 2-mana cards. A lot of red 3-drops as well. Yeah, it seems like both colors are pretty equally important. So if we've got an even split of mana, because we have an even number of lands, or 16, it seems good to me. So this is going to be the deck. We'll see how it does as we head into the gameplay. Here we are in game 1 with the Boros party. This hand isn't great. There is a wide gap in our mana at turn 2 and turn 3. We're just kind of sitting there. But we have both of our colors and some powerful cards late game, as well as one piece of interaction, the Synchronized Spellcraft, so I don't think it's worth the mulligan, unfortunately. Well, there's a turn 2 play now, a pressure point. I'm going to offer the trade of a 1/1 flyer into a 1/1 flying lifelink, but then I will probably pressure point that during our opponent's turn just to draw that card, see if we get a 3-mana card to dump out. Ooh, they're going to make it a 2/2 flying lifelink. I will definitely pressure point it. And we may be moving to Synchronize Spellcraft that. Probably are. That's going to be pretty impossible to outrace. Moss Pit Skeleton. So don't love dropping a Myria Captain as a 2/2 Flying Vigilance. I'd like to give it a little bit of time, see if we draw a Wizard here. But for now, send in our Cleric. But yeah, our Captain's not going to block well. It'll just be a 2/2 out here, not blocking the Ghastly Gloom Hunter. So we'll hold up on it for now. And this gets their Feed the Swarm to be used on our 3/3 on the ground instead of our potential 2/2 Flying Vigilance in the future. Electromancer doesn't quite pay for itself. It's going to give us just 2 mana back, but that's enough of a rebate to play that and then Captain, and Captain will be a 3/3 Flying Lifelink now, so if they don't have another removal spell, and it has to cost 2 or less, then the Captain should be fine here. So I'm going to go for it. Oh, and it's a 4/4, not a 3/3. Oh, it would have been a 3/3, because, yeah, Cleric Warrior, that's 2 +1/+1 counters. Wow. Yeah, I am bad at math. We could have just slammed down Captain a turn early, but it did work out that we didn't. So this must be a Subtle Strike here, is how they're trying to kill the Captain. We're just not going to allow that. We're going to Spellcraft their Gloom Hunter, and then just keep chipping in the sky. Should be a good way to close out this game. I suppose it could be Rabbit Bite as well. They're trying to go for the 2-for-1. But it looks like they give up on that there. We have enough mana to play Spellcraft and Resolute Strike. I love that. So Spellcraft to kill the Gloom Hunter. And we're holding on to Resolute Strike to save Mirror Captain from damage-based removal, which is about all the removal green has in the format. Opponent's still stuck on 2 mana, but they have an efficient deck here. It feels like our opponent was in the same draft pod as us, funnily enough, but that's impossible because it is quick draft. It's draft against robots. But it really does feel that way. It feels like they're the triple Moss Pit Skeleton deck. That was wide open. Shepherd of Heroes was a beautiful draw here. Should get another flyer and definitely close out the game next turn. Gnarled Colony, and they're very dead in the sky, so that'll be game 1 in the bag for us. Send everybody in, send a message. We go down to 13. And now we shall send everybody in. Alright, here we are now in game 2. I'm going to keep this opening hand, even though we don't have any white sources, because we have Magmatic Channeler to attempt to pull them out of the deck. If we do hit a white source, this hand is beautiful. So I think I want to just start out with the Channeler here. Try to pull out that land. Skyclave Squid, the first play from our opponent, is a 3/2. We unfortunately just naturally drew the land. I think we still Channeler here, discard Pressure Point or Practiced Tactics. Probably Pressure Point. Our mana's going to get choked up just casting all this stuff. So we're not going to have the mana to dump that out anytime soon. Oh, Kargan Warleader, alright. Go for that. Spare supplies from our opponent to draw a card. They are unfortunately stuck on 2 mana again. I'm actually kind of cool just not discarding a card here, just dropping a Bug Catcher and holding up a Practice Tactics. I suppose we should probably always discard the card. Try to get to high mana, just discard this Cleric here now that we're going like Warrior maximum. When it attacks, or creature opponent controls with power less than or equal to the number of warriors control can't block this turn. Wow. Yeah, if we hit another land, going Bug Catcher and Vanguard is great here, so we should probably try to do that. I think we get rid of Expedition Healer, because Shepherd here is going to be so huge late game. No land, but Electromancer here will give us 2 mana, so we can get Electromancer and Bug Catcher down. I guess Spikefield Hazard is a land, but it's a tapped one. Let's play the Vanguard, actually, just to shut off the blocker next turn. Opponent cracks the spare supplies to draw a card. And there is the 3rd mana. It's going to be a Tangled Veil. So they are blue and green. No attacks from the Squid. Means Vanguard's just going to get full value here. I guess we do need one more warrior on the board before that'll work, but we do have the bug catcher in hand. Now we've got a captain in hand too. Wow, one more mana is going to be beautiful for us. Maybe we discard practice tactics to try to hit the mana even, because then we get to captain Shepherd of Heroes coming up. I guess so. Oh, another bug catcher though? But let's get that land. Get to a Myria captain, which is a warrior, so I'm actually just going to play it right now. And this is just an absurd rollout against an opponent who's not doing well on the mana front. Yeah, Magmatic Channeler is insane. That card has done so much work this game. Alright, we only shut off one blocker here. Shut off the squid and just let the ooze trade, if that's what they want to do. I think that's what we do. Not using the channeler this turn. Play Shepherd pre-combat, so whatever we lose, we still gain the max number of life even if our party size falls, and our opponent just scoops them up there. They are not a fan of this board state. That is going to be a 2-0 as we head into round 3. All right. Round 3 now. Kind of a slow start this time. Nothing till turn 3, but one of our best cards on turn 3, the Kargan War Leader. So I'm going to roll with it. White and green from our opponent. They started with a Sajiri Glacier into a forest. And past the turn here, well, let's just drop our War Leader. Got the mana for a kicked Kitesail Cleric next turn, although I doubt that'll be necessary. Maybe it will. No, they play nothing here, so we'll just play 1 mana Kitesail Cleric. Turn 5 is going to be real spicy for us. Pyroclastic Hellion or Synchronized Spellcraft coming down. Prowling Felidar, going to be a 2/3 here. Just draw our card off our pressure point. We'll kill that with a Spellcraft soon enough if need be. For now, we'll just keep getting more power on this board and jam it in. Opponent is down to 11. Another Prowling Felidar, so they will both be 3/4s. So, no attack from War Leader here then. And a Skyclave Pickaxe, that just gives it a buff when they landfall, so it only matters on the aggressive, so I'm not that worried about that. I'm worried about our land situation here. We definitely need to pull out some gas. Although, maybe not that badly. They are at 9 life here, about to go to 4 if they don't block. And if they do block, we kill their only creature on board. So yeah, they are down to 4. I do feel like we'll need at least one more spell to close out this game, but I don't think we need to draw super well to get there. Depends on what they have to follow up. Another Prowling Felidar it is. So they're very much mucking up the ground, and that first Prowling Felidar is now 4/5, so we're kind of all in on the Cleric now. Another land for us here. Not ideal. Three more hits from Kitesail Cleric can finish it if they don't have removal. Alright, equipping the Prowling Felidar, dropping land for turn. The Felidars are vigilant, so they can actually turn this around on us pretty quickly. And Skyclave Apparition, one of the best cards in the format, standard all-star. It is a creature and a removal spell all in one, going to remove our Kite Sail Cleric. So now we need to draw something here, but they're at 3 life. They kill a Pyroclastic Hellion here. We get rid of a Felidar and just take 5. We probably would rather kill the bigger Felidar, because this one is only bigger right now because of the pickaxe. This one has 3 counters, this only has 2. So by taking 1 more damage here, we can kill the bigger one. But yeah, since we're not going to be able to attack it no matter what with these creatures, let's just slow down our death, give us some more turns to draw into an out here. Bugcatcher's not going to get there. It is not good on the defensive, just a 1-2. Although with War Leader it is a 2-3. So if they don't have another land in hand, what they do. Well, it's a chump block here. We died at 2 hits from the Prowling Felidar. I'm going to take this first one. It gives us a chance to have removal be lethal if they don't have another creature in hand. If they don't have another creature in hand, we can top deck a removal spell to win. So it just adds to our number of outs to victory here. Unless they can give it like double strike. Or they have 2 combat tricks? This puts us to 2 life right now. That was a big combat trick. They have 2 combat tricks in hand. Brutal game. Alright. The casual +8/+8 lying in wait in their hand. One of those games that makes me sad. Arena does not have a draw next card button, so we can see what we would have hit next turn. But yeah, I think not blocking there is right, because again, it opens our number of outs dramatically if they don't have creatures in hand, and they didn't have creatures in hand. They just had lethal in hand. But yeah, then we could have Journey to Oblivion be an out. I guess that's just 1 more out. I don't think we had any outs if we didn't do that. We just play a flyer and hope to not die. Yeah, I guess our 1 out there was Journey to Oblivion, so we played to our 1 out. Did what you can. Let's head into round 4 now. Alright, round 4. Definitely going to go on the play here. Or going to keep this hand here if we are on the play. We've got Squad Commander, another one of our super bomb rares. And we're going to have quite the party once that hits the board, potentially. Play a Cleric turn 2. Play a Wizard before we cast that if we want. As well. So the only thing we're missing is a Rogue. Which, unfortunately, I don't think we have in this deck, so we can't actually get the full party benefits of the Squad Commander, but we can still spit out a bunch of nonsense. Ooh, Spike Field Hazard? I should probably play this as a land, but I want to get real greedy here. I want to cast this to kill their Akum Hellhound. But we have 4 mana cards and 5 mana cards in hand. We really should probably play the Spikefield Cave. So I will. I'll guarantee we're getting a 4-drop down next turn. Expedition Champions, they're just going for a big rollout here. Let's just go ahead and kill their 1 other warrior here. Make their Expedition Champion just a 2/3. And then I suppose they could just trade. We can trade our 3/3 Squad Commander into their 4/3 Expedition Champion. Just get a couple 1/1s here. Don't really want to play Rock Slide Sorcerer and be forced to trade a 3/3 up into the 4/3. But we'll get 1 more 1/1 if we wait. Is 1/1/1 worth it? I don't think so. I think we just jam this out right now. Akum Hellhound still operating with gas here. The 1 mana 2/3. And a highborn vampire for another warrior. Easy trade with squad commander. We don't have any rogues in this deck. I'm gonna double check, because if we do, maybe we consider keeping it, but I don't believe we have a single rogue. No, we do not. Alright, so trade. Journey to Oblivion is the draw. Probably just dump out Shepherd of Heroes. Gain some life and start jamming in the sky. Trade our 2/2 lifelinker and a 1/1 into Highborn Vampire if they attack in. It's still basically a 1-for-1 trade since the 1/1s were just an ETB of another card. Maybe they got Subtle Strike here. If they have Subtle Strike here, even if we quad block, we get absolutely demolished. Yep, that'll happen. Actually, no matter how we block there, unless we block with literally all of our creatures, which would lose Shepherd of Heroes, so I don't want to do that. Alright, well now we're definitely going to Journey into Oblivion the 5/4. They're down to a 2/1 and a 0/1, and I'm at 20 life. I think we're looking pretty solid here. They didn't discard the last card in their hand, though, so it's something spicy, which is worrisome. I'm going to hold on to this land. We do have Magmatic Channeler in the deck that makes us discard to draw. Alright, I guess removal spell it is in hand. Alright, so we're taking 2 a turn, unless they keep hitting lands. And as soon as we draw a wizard or an instant or sorcery, we get to use Rock Slide Sorcerer to jam stuff out. I'm going to play some extra lands here. I think I only need to hold like 1 for the Channeler. We hit Kabira Outrider. Doesn't really do much here. I guess it blocks. It blocks fine. So we'll jam it out. I guess we get an attack with Sorcerer then. Alright, they're down to 10. Expedition Champion, that is the only warrior on their board, though. Here's an Electromancer, which is a wizard, so we can kill the Hellhound or the Fissure Wizard. I think I'll kill the Fissure Wizard, actually, first. Because Hellhound, they have to hit a land to attack with it. And we can just block it with a 3/3. Anyway. This is bad against Subtle Strike. Let's actually send the Outrider in. Say Subtle Strike to kill Outrider, that's much less of a big deal. Because Rock Slide Sorcerer can kill a Koom Hellhound if we hit another instant or sorcery or wizard. Ooh, Bug Catcher's not a bad draw at all. They would have Subtle Striked if they had it last turn, or they would have attacked, so we'll send in both this time and then play Bug Catcher. So they're down to 4, here's Bug Catcher. Shatterskull Minotaur, that's kind of big. They only have 2 mana up. Ooh, Kargan Warleader, we are drawing quite well. Get to send in the Outrider and the Bug Catcher. If we send in everybody, they're just dead, aren't they? I think they're just dead. Yep. They scooped them up. That's going to be 3-1. Round 5 now. 3-1 so far, so no matter what happens, a nice average record from the deck. Certainly like this hand. Seagate Banneret into Grotag Bugcatcher, so we're just flooding the board really quickly. Reclaim the Wastes from our opponent to grab a basic land, reveal it, and put it into their hand. What do you want? They want another forest. Alright. Start with just a green source, grab another green source. So they must need double green for something in their hand. So they go forest into grabbing the second one, turn 1, play their second color, turn 2. Yep, green-white it is. Murasa Root Grazer is the play here. Scary card to get out on turn 2. A 2/3 Vigilance that can dump hands from their land onto the battlefield or put them back to their hand, so really good for a landfall deck. And that is going to hold off our attacks for a moment here. Adventure awaits. They get to look at the top 5 cards of the library, pick a creature from among them, and put it into their hand. They choose a Canopy Baloth. All right, very much the Selesnya Landfall deck here. Canopy Baloth with Murasa Rootgrazer could be pretty terrifying, because that Baloth gets +2/+2 when they landfall, so it attacks as a 6/5 every turn that they do. I think I want to offer the trade of Grotag Bugcatcher into the Rootgrazer, but the problem is it doesn't even trade right now because we only have one creature in the party, one creature type, because all our stuff is warriors. So we just pass for now, and I guess we get an Outrider attack in next turn. Alright, Rootgrazer is going to ramp them up here, get their 4th mana out. So they could have 5 mana on turn 4. Canopy Baloth. Well, now they might want to just hold lands in hand to get a big attack out of Baloth in the future. But they are still going to play land for turns. They must have some expensive cards in hand to cast. And they can always put the lands back into hand later with Rootgrazer, if need be. So I think I want to synchronize Spellcraft the Baloth when I can, because Kabir Takedown should be able to kill the 2/3 Rootgrazer at basically any time later. For now, though, let's push in a big attack with Bugcatcher, take whatever trades that they're cool with. This Bugcatcher is attacking in with 3 power here. That's a bit awkward. This means if they have a land in hand, they just dump it out. They block with Baloth and dump it out, so we actually just don't attack here. Because if we attack, we lose Bugcatcher to them just having 1 land in hand. That doesn't seem like I can actually just go for that. I have changed my mind. I keep expecting my party cards to be more impactful than they are, but I keep forgetting they are all warriors. Alright, Tazim Raptor is coming out. Picks up a land. They drop it for Canopy Baloth. Yep, 6/5. That means if they have a land for hand, after this turn for Rootgrazer, we can't even Spellcraft the Baloth. So hopefully, if we just don't block here, hopefully they just like tap out the Rootgrazer to get more Baloth damage in. But this game's looking really bad for us. Our creature types have lined up pretty poorly, and our opponent's start is pretty phenomenal. Great green-white landfall synergies coming out here. And now even if we kill the Baloth, we have to deal with 2 2/2 flyers. Wow, our opponent does not tap out the Rootgrazer to get extra damage in. Good play from our opponent. That is going to ruin our day here. We still got to deal with Baloth. I suppose we just shoot the Rootgrazer then with Kabira Takedown while we can, since they're not going to have 1 mana removal. But yeah, if we have any hope of getting rid of Baloth, it's by getting rid of Rootgrazer. Which means they're going to be working hard to outrace us with these Raptors. So we definitely attack into them, probably with our Bugcatcher and Outrider here. Get a chump block with Banneret. Deciding whether or not they want to put the land out, which could be a hard decision here, because they might have like a 6-drop in hand, but they might also want to save their lands for landfall triggers. And they have to decide which is more worth it. Ooh, or they want to put it in hand to make sure that Canopy Baloth can just keep jamming. That's a possibility as well. See if they want to double block, trade a 2/2 flyer into our 3/3 Outrider. They do not. They just want to get in against us here. So Landfall for the Baloth, attack all. Kind of got to block the Baloth here, or else we're going to 4 life. Oran Reef Ooze, that is a very nice rare. Gets a +1/+1 counter on any creature, and every time it attacks, they get a +1/+1 counter on each attacking creature with a +1/+1 counter on it. So every time it attacks, it's going to be 4/4, then 5/5, so on. We have drawn into Journey to Oblivion. So I think we have to spellcraft the Baloth, double block Oran Reef Ooze, and take 5. I don't see how we win this game. Is there any way we outrace by shooting blockers instead here? No, because we can only kill 1 blocker, which means whichever blocker is left trades into Outrider and they just take 2. Yeah, there's no way we outrace, so we have to, yeah, just play it the defensive way and hope to top deck like a god. Otherwise, we're just dying to Raptors really fast. Yep, well, this is where we're at. Kill Baloth. Double block Ooze, take 5. Exile a flyer, trade into the 1/1 next turn. But they've just got more threats coming. Prowling Felidar now. Exile Felidar, block Blade, go to 2. This kills the most of their creatures. We take a little bit more damage than we would if we exiled Raptor and chumped the 3/4. This way at least we get to kill 2 of their creatures. Down to 2, unless we draw one of our life gain cards, we are out immediately. Next turn, Pressure Point. Do we have any instance that would make us want to Pressure Point during their turn? Like Pressure Point into a second instant would be some way to save us. I don't think we do. No, we don't. We have like Spike Field Hazard. That's not enough. Practice Tactics, but we've got no creature on the board anymore. Alright, so we got a Pressure Point right now to see the next card, and it's just another land. Unfortunate. 3 and 2 it is. Alright, here we are in round 6 now. We have some incredibly powerful cards in hand, but no red mana to cast them. We've got 8 red sources in the deck. We do have a Pressure Point to draw a card. This is a risky one, but if we hit a red source, I'd say in like the top 4 cards of our library, we're in a really good spot because Magmatic Channeler and War Leader here. I think I'm going to keep this. Go for the Banneret here, go for the turn 2 Pressure Point, even if we have to target our own Banneret. Just because we're trying to cycle that into a red source. But if they play a 2-drop creature, Pressure Point's going to get a little extra value, letting us hit in for more damage with Banneret again. Nope, Spare Supplies is not a creature, so Pressure Point our own card to draw. Not the red source, but it digs us 1 card closer. Come on! Alright, that's our 3rd draw here, this game. And it is not the red source, but I said if we have a red source in the top 4, we should be good. So we've got 1 more shot here, but if I miss next turn, probably just lose to some mana. Alright, 4th draw. Red source, let's go. No. Alright. Well, it's not over. Our hand, every turn we don't draw it's a Chilling Trap to just 1-for-1 trade. Oh, it's a Spell Shield. And they have the kicker mana. Because it makes the kicked spells cost 1 less. Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, I guess it's not completely over because, again, every turn we don't draw land is a turn that we're drawing more gas for when we do hit a land. So when we do hit a land, we're definitely casting something every single turn for the rest of the game. But it's certainly not ideal. Alright, Vine Gecko's coming in hot. Not under too much pressure here, taking 3 damage a turn for now. And there's the red source. Maybe still a shot here. Electromancer. Electromancer's pretty huge here. That's probably the play. They have 2 mana up, which could be the counterspell. Doesn't see a ton of play, but some people enjoy counterspells, so it could happen. We have to just play one of our strongest cards here, though. Either way, just kind of go for it. All right, this could be spicy. Electromancer is so helpful there when we have mana issues, because Electromancer just makes sure we just dump stuff out of our hand as soon as we hit that 3rd source. Wasn't even thinking of that, but yeah, we're immediately just right back in it, to be honest. Some pretty even board states. I'd even say we have the slightly better board state. They've got 1 more card in hand than us, though. 2 more, actually, after Deliberate Resolves. All right. Not the perfectly timed mountain, but close enough that we've got a board state. Definitely still going to be fighting behind when it comes to mana here, though, I think. Because we're going to keep playing like 3 mana cards while they're jamming out. Potential 5 drops here if they play land for a turn. Yep. Another Vine Gecko. Alright, well, their kicker spells are going to absolutely go off. And Roost of Drakes kicked for only 2 mana because they've got double Vine Gecko? Oof. Alright. That is very bad. This is the kind of synergy-driven deck that I think our best bet against would be just drawing the dream aggressive curve and just smashing in before they can set this stuff up. Well, it has been set up. It is here to stay. We can only attack with Bugcatcher here, because anything else gets just demolished by this Vine Gecko. Luckily, though, this Bugcatcher does trade into either Vine Gecko and does not trade into the Flyer if they block with that. So they are down to 13. They just take it. We're still trying. We're still going for it, but they have the potential for some incredibly explosive plays with double Vine Gecko and Roost of Drakes on board. Their kicker spells all cost 2 less, and every time they cast a spell with kicker, they get a 2/2 flyer and a +1/+1 counter on both of their geckos. Tazim Royal Mage kicked for only 4 mana. Pick up a Spell Shield. Yeah, the auto tapper really got them there, though. Tapped all of their blue mana for no reason. Good old Arena auto tapper. Maybe they just have like a black 2-drop and a green 2-drop in hand or something. And so Auto Tapper's just confused because it doesn't realize they're going to pick up Spell Shield. Well, that's definitely not ideal. Alright, 4th mana, Rock Slide Sorcerer here. It's not that good, but it can let us kill that Tazim Royal Mage, I suppose. Gomafada Vanguard lets us shut off 1 blocker. Also doesn't seem that good. They're just going to have a million. Yeah, I'll just play Rock Slide Sorcerer, I guess. Oh, we can't even attack into this Vine Gecko anymore, though. I think they got there. Double Vine Gecko, Roost of Drakes is just a real good collection of cards to synergize there. There's a Gloom Hunter, which comes with a 2/2, and it's a 3/3 flying lifelink. Kitesail Cleric is actually something here. Probably our best play. But they've got that spell shield up. They can just cast for 1 single mana to make one of their Vine Geckos a 7/7 and get another Roost. Drake. Okay, never mind. Yeah, this doesn't really do anything because they have spell shield. They'll still just have a 7/7 to block with, 2/2/2 flyers, a 2/1 and a 3/3 flying lifelink. Just lose 1 creature attacking all here. It's like our only hope. Alright, well, we aren't just immediate lethal anymore. Anything that gets rid of Kitesail Cleric would be immediate lethal if we didn't kill any of their flyers this turn. So, get another turn to live. But don't think it matters. Yep. Seems good. Roost of Drakes is just a bonkers magic card. If it were just Vine Geckos here, we could maybe outrace them, but Roost of Drakes is absurd. Because any creature they have with kicker is just turning into 2 creatures every time they cast one. Yep, it's super over. 3-3. It'll be. Unfortunate draft all around. I think I liked this deck quite a bit. We don't have excellent removal in here. Definitely Royal Eruption would be better than our 5-mana removal spell by quite a bit. And we don't have any rogues. So had we taken those 1-mana 1/1 red rogues a little higher, that would have been nice. It'd been nice to have 1 or 2, so maybe Squad Commander can super pop off, but it was still a powerful enough card. I think we won the 1 game where we cast it in, because we were able to make really good trades by just playing it as 4 mana for a 3/3 and a couple 1/1s. So I don't think that was super necessary. But yeah, the biggest weaknesses of the deck are removal isn't super great. I think that would be the #1 biggest weakness. Other than that, it is pretty front heavy. It's pretty aggro focused, so if we have any issues with mana, then they will get exacerbated quite a bit. Like if this deck floods out, it really floods out, and that did feel like what happened in a couple of losses. We had like 9 or 10 lands, and just really we run out of gas pretty quick with this deck without something like Magmatic Channeler, so that is definitely an issue. And then the other one is, again, since we're so front heavy and so aggro focused, if we stumble on mana in the early game, it's hard to we're not going to have any like really big impactful synergies or stuff late game. We just jam out a bunch of dudes and attack. So against a super synergy deck like our last round opponent, we're just not going to have anything powerful enough to compete if the game lasts long enough to set up synergies like that. So definitely our biggest weakness is showing up in our losses here for a 3/3 run. Maybe the deck could have done better if I played a little better, or we got some better matchups, but I'll take it. 3-3, nice average run. I like the deck, fun deck, some sweet rares, Magmatic Channeler, Squad Commander were sweet, and the uncommon Kargan War Leader was pretty sweet too. Fun stuff overall, but that is going to end today's draft. I may do one more Zendikar Rising draft tomorrow because they are still on for another 23 hours. So we may do one last Zendikar Rising draft tomorrow. Maybe not. Depends on if I have time to record that early. But yeah, other than that, stick around on the channel if you're interested in some more limited content, some more drafts and sealeds. We've got Tinkerer's Cube draft still on Arena for another week, and then the launch of Streets of New Capenna that I am very excited for. The limited format looks absolutely insane. Looks like 5-color is definitely very manageable there, and very multicolored stuff in general. It'll be really interesting to see how that format shapes up between whether or not you want to be in that many colors, because while it is always possible to play 3+ colors in that format, a lot of the ways to do it involve a lot of tapped lands, a lot of cards that you're spending mana just to get mana of any color. So some really slow starts to play a lot of colors, but then you get access to really powerful cards late game, but you can get punished by aggressive like 2-color decks that don't have to set up in the early game. Looks like it could be a pretty interesting format, could be a pretty fun format. So excited to dive in when that comes out just a week from today. So once again, as always, thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.